Can I get it in the microphone? That was a good one. That was a good one.
I think I'm going to pass out in a minute.
Like a Brian Lara, Sachin Tendulkar, Stephen Warne, you just don't say anything because
Oh, really?
they go, is that right? Well, you know what? I think I'll bat for 2 days today. I think it's less than 5 times that I can remember that if we were bowling last, that Warnie didn't get that job done. You know, Reece's consistency will be that good.
Welcome, Hills, to becoming the first cricketer on the Sack podcast. There you are.
That sounds bad, doesn't it? First cricketer on the Sacked podcast, like there's going to be a few.
Yeah, that's right. But you've had a career, haven't you, on and off the field. But let's start at a strange place. When we were outside and I shook your hand, I thought, how did the hands finish up after that career? Like what?
Well, what did you find?
I found a little bit of something gave way. I'm not sure what it was. And I thought it might have been your bottom finger. I'll be honest.
Well, no,
it's the top
this
one.
finger, you can feel it now.
Oh, gee, that squeaked.
It squeaks. Right,
Jeepers.
so it's got an artificial joint in there.
Okay.
And they're like 2 little Lego pieces with flat end with a spike that goes into that bone and a spike that goes into that bone. And the surgeon, it might have been 10 years ago, said to me, I bumped into him, Mark Ross. He said, Ian, would you mind, how long have you had your joint now? And I said, I think I'm up to 11 years.
Yeah.
And he said, would you mind coming in and seeing us in the office?
Yeah.
Oh, why? And he said, it seems the lifespan of that joint's about 13 years. We can get out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, it was rock solid. It's stuck in there hard, and I'm now 24, 25 years with it. It's something that real elderly people, not just me, have for arthritic fingers.
Can I just try that squeak again? Try that again.
Don't do it so hard, man. I can't bend it.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Can I get it in the microphone? That was a good one. That was a good one.
I think I'm going to pass out in a minute.
Well, see, this finger used to be the bad one. Right? So I broke it, but probably in both bones, and 2 breaks in each, and played with it. Kept playing with it. Went on the West Indies tour. I'd hit it from nearly everyone. The physio, who was our doctor, etc., and trainer, Errol Alcott, knew what he was up against. He made me get it x-rayed so that he knew what was in there. And then we just took it easy for the first 2 weeks and then worked on our strapping techniques. And then from then on, that was 1995, I would say.
I remember you
Maybe
got
91.
advice, it was 91, advice from the doctor. I think this was in your diaries. He said, do not play that series. And you said, I have to. And I remember in your diaries, you said you couldn't even hit the ball into the net.
Yeah, well, that's where I had to hide it from Bobby Simpson. I had to act as if I'm working on my defensive shots and every now and then really put one on the line and play a cover drive. And if you didn't hit it right in the middle, which was unusual for me, that it would hurt and jar badly.
What about Bob Simpson? You mentioned him there and you said I kept it from Bob Simpson. But he was a great house detective, wasn't he, the old so-and-so?
Yeah.
And there were other times when you didn't keep things from him, wasn't there? Wasn't there a famous incident where you, in a nightclub or something, you had to confess to him? What was that all about?
Great house detective. So we think he paid off the concierges and told the concierge would tell him who was last in last night. Those sorts of things. And he seemed to know a lot more about us than we even knew about the others. And then the next day at training, that morning at training, he would pick that person and run them ragged, sometimes to the point of vomiting, So in the heat of, Madras and Colombo, someone was getting some punishment. But for Simo, for me, the one that you're talking about, this could have been a day where I was sacked too. I got lucky with the rain. The theme that'll come through here is how fortunate I've been, I bet. But it was a rain delay in Adelaide and we're playing Pakistan and I'm sort of trying not to limp, but I'm limping because I had a really sore knee and the tablets haven't worked. And it was about the 15th over, I reckon. It was a rain delay and we're off. We're in the dressing room. And Simo just sidles up to you. How you going? What's it like out there today? And you sort of come up with a big story. You sort of sense where he's sniffing. And they're bowling well. It's coming out of his hand really well. I think if we can just keep it tight in the next 5 overs, we might get an avalanche of wickets. And he said, how are you moving? I said, struggling a bit. I've got this sore knee at the top of my kneecap here, and how does that come on? And I've just made a decision right there and then. I can't lie to him. And we just finished a test match in Perth, or a one-day in Perth, and we went to F. Scott's, which was a bar nightclub, and I was rap dancing. I'd done a big swan dive, you know, the swallow dive, and bang, my knee on the deck, and really hurt. And I said, I did it in Perth. We went to F. Scott's, and he probably knew we went there, and I banged it on the floor, dancing, rap dancing. He said, "It's hard to feel sympathy for you, isn't it?" And yeah, right. So I went and got 2 more Panadol. Hoped the rain would stay on for a little while, but out we went again. And
but at least you told him.
In. Yeah, the Panadol kicked in, and I was okay for the rest of the day. So I told him.
But better that than lie. You like and have him find out, I guess.
Because he's such a good detective.
Yeah.
Don't go lying in a big way to someone who's a good detective and has a serious interest in finding the truth.
And Heels, you mentioned luck before, and you know, your career didn't rely on it at all, but it was unusual at the start, wasn't it? You were chosen after a handful of first-class games. Greg Chappell said, "I think that guy's a Test cricketer," and I remember covering it. It was April Fool's Day, wasn't it? And it was just there was no paper the next day, wasn't there? So it was all a bit mysterious and murky, wasn't it? Remember that?
Well, I certainly remember. It's interesting that you do too, that the next day was not only April Fool's Day, it was Good Friday.
Yep.
And so on March the 31st, I got a phone call from Queensland Cricket to tell me I was in the team. And I didn't know there was a team being picked even. And I said, no, I'm going to Kingaroy with Queensland next Saturday. We were opening the Kingaroy Sports Clubs, and I was happy that they stuck with me for Queensland because Peter Anderson was now back fit again. That's who I was filling in for. And Grantley Evans said, "No, son, you're going to Pakistan." Oh, what? And so it wasn't for another 4 months. It was a September tour, and it was March the 31st, at the end of the cricket summer, that they picked the team. And then the media converged on Good Friday at home because they needed newspapers again on Saturday.
Yeah.
So everyone was quite surprised to tell you the truth. Dad didn't really believe it. Dad had to ring up ABC and find that if it was real or not. I said, "Hey, Dad, I think I'm in the Australian cricket team." He said, "What?" And then everyone had the same reaction. Said, "What? What tour's on?" No one even knew there was a tour.
And I remember what you said when you went on your first tour, and a tough tour, as Pakistan always is, gosh, first tour. But you said you were a little bit paranoid, and even guys like Booney, with the Booney look, haunted you. What did you mean by that?
Yeah. No, I thought he hated me.
Did you?
Yeah, and he's fielding at short leg for most of the Pakistan tour. All 3 tests, we're bowling a lot of spin, which is a massive challenge for a brand new wicketkeeper. I'd wicket kept okay to spin him, and I'd had Trevor Holmes, and I had Ross Gallagher as a leg spinning junior. So it wasn't. I was okay at it, and did pretty well. I was doing pretty well. The first day of my Test career, I think Alan Border bowled 16 overs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's the first day in Karachi when we had Peter Sleep and Peter Taylor as well.
Yeah.
So I was up to the stumps a lot on that first day. I took a great catch to start. I caught, I think it was Madassa. I don't know, it might have been Ramesh Raja across in front of first slip. And then all the boys who I didn't really know said, "Jeez, we got a beauty here." And then I dropped 2 more, they reckon. I can only remember 1, but they reckon I dropped 2 on that afternoon, and they were off me. They were off me first day. But for the rest of the tour, I got Booney right here. So I got a batsman in front of us, and Booney's there under the helmet. And he's not the larrikin, beer-swilling legend that Australians always perceive. He's a very tightly held man, doesn't let his emotions out, doesn't give you an impression of exactly what he's thinking. And he was just staring at me like that under the helmet. And I thought, oh, geez, I'd take the helmet off him and put it up there, on the spot. And there was no chat. There's no chat, but there's no way Booney would not like you. But it's just a perception, and he was just watching me to hope I go all right or something. I don't know.
But you thought you were a bit paranoid, probably?
Yeah. It was all a swirl of nerves, and and our team didn't have a great attitude. Being in Pakistan, and Javed was making a lot of runs, and we thought we had him out LBW, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 times. He made 200, and we finally got him out LBW. So, yeah, it was all a bit of a stressful environment at the time. The team in my time moving forwards in the 10 years next was much better equipped to play better in the subcontinent.
Javed, eh? It was Casey Sledge the fieldsman, wouldn't he? Like sort of, it's going to, didn't he sort of, one of the few batsmen that would actually sledge fieldsmen? And,
yeah, he could.
Yeah.
He could, and he niggled Merv, Big Merv, didn't make that tour, my first tour of Pakistan, but he was on the scene, of course. He'd already played for Australia, and he was just dropped, and he was to come back and play a really crucial role in our team. But Javed would love just walking between wickets, so knock one down the fine leg, for example, and just sort of start to jog and then ease off and walk. Yeah. And now he's getting level with Merv, who's in his follow through, walking back that way with him, and he'd just touch him with the bat.
Oh, really?
Oh, he used to fire Merv.
Did it really? But early in your career, like, that was tough, and then you came back to Australia and you played that West Indies team with guys like Patrick Patterson and that, and it was carnage, wasn't it? Like on spicy decks in Melbourne and whatever. And Patrick, I think, might have even stormed into your room or something. But it was that was intimidation plus, wasn't it? Can you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it vividly. And Bruce Reid was the 12th man, and he's inside our dressing room, which is down in the dungeon in Melbourne. And the two dressing rooms are very similar, close together. There's two doors. You go out of our door, and generally it's left open. And then you walk down the corridor to the lunchroom. But this door, the away room, is generally left shut. And Patrick Patterson decided he's coming up the stairs from the grandstand, through our viewing room up the top, and then down the stairs to our dressing room. And Bruce Reid's in there. We're not off the field yet. And he said, tell AB we sort our problems out tomorrow. And so Bruce, we get into the rooms, and then Patrick goes out of our door into his door, right?
Yeah.
And Bruce Reid's standing there like that. He's still like 6'20", and he's, what's been happening out there, fellas? Like that. Anyway, AB, and it was Merv's fault. Got AB in trouble because Merv, at the end of day 4, he's finished his bowling spell, I think, and Stephen Waugh is bowling and trying everything, loopies, leggers, and as well as bumpers and everything. And Merv is at cover, never fields at cover, but he's got a baggy green on, never fields in a baggy green. And he's acting like Greg Chappell, walking with like the pole up in the behind and saying, come on, Tugger, knock his head off, all this sort of stuff from cover. And Patrick Patterson steps back from batting, and there's still Gordon Greenwich. He's at the other end because he's come back from having retired hurt. He's back in. So they've still got a bit of ammo to go if they want to score runs. And Patrick steps back and looks at Merv out there. AB is in first or second slip probably. He's sick of this time wasting. We get off the field, let's go, let's get this session done. He steps forward and says to Patrick, he doesn't know what Merv's been up to over at cover, and he says, just face up, mate, like hurry up and face up. Something to that regard. And Patrick goes, you talk to me? And hurry up, mate, just face up and we're ready to play. And he said the same thing. He says, we'll sort this out tomorrow. And AB just couldn't care, he just stepped back. And this wicket was very uneven.
Oh, really?
It was corrugated from the word go. We did well to get them out on the first, win the toss and bowl, got them out. We made a few, and then they had a good enough lead. They had like 400 in front of us, and they even batted on the next morning. And then we batted for most of the day 5 and made 120. I think it's 114. And AB was there for a long time. AB was out there like copping it all over here because balls were pitching in similar areas, 2 balls in similar areas. One would go at your helmet and one would shoot, So that was, and I got hit in the the bad areas, 3 times in 2
Oh,
overs.
really?
Yeah.
In the groin, did you?
Yeah, 2 from, I think, Curtly, a brand new Curtly Ambrose, and 1 from Courtney.
I noticed your eyes watering. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I was with AB when that was happening. AB's copping it, all uneven bounces, getting hit right down the side, and I'm getting hit in the crown jewels, and I can't show any pain. So that was a turning point for us. We can't have this again. We've got to be as tough and skillful as we need to beat these blokes, because they're a very proud team.
Well, it was funny because from that point on, within 6 months or so, you were in England, and that was the start of the turnaround, wasn't it? The 1989 Ashes, and you never lost a series to England, and they were good times, weren't they?
Yeah.
Your Ashes memories must be pure and very uplifting, and you seem to have that team mentally, didn't you? You seem to dominate. Did you feel that?
Yes, we did feel that, and we sort of giggled at them, their professional system, their full-time cricket. Right, so if you're a lawyer, you wanted to be a lawyer, an accountant, you can't play for England because you're not playing county cricket, and they play 6 days a week. They might play probably 3-dayer in that stage, and then a 40-over match on the Sunday, and then a 1-day match, and another 3-dayer. Or they just keep going non-stop. So their cricket was hard for the wrong reasons. They start pacing themselves and not playing at full tilt because I got a big game in 3 days' time. So, and there wasn't any rotation. You just play, play for your money. And we didn't like that system, but now we've got it too. So we're jamming matches in everywhere at state level, and it's very difficult to have any other profession but cricket. So we were on top of them. We knew that they didn't have a test match gear. That they're too busy pacing themselves to get through their workloads. They weren't hardened in cricket. They were hardened in playing cricket, but that's about it.
I've never heard you say that before. That's interesting. So you feel Australia could be falling into the same trap that England did back, of just consistent cricket and just sort of flatlining and no sting sort of thing. You sense that's a danger, a possibility?
It's a very big danger, and now that we've got the Big Bash, which takes the middle portion of our summer away, we're jamming four Shield matches, 1 a week. Right? We used to play it would be more averaged out at 1 a fortnight. And that's why they were rock hard. We were ready. Blokes were hungry. Blokes were fresh again, and it was really good. Now, I still love Sheffield Shield cricket and the standards that are being on display whenever we see it and whenever I go to a game. So we've just got to be... And we are resting and rotating Shield cricketers now because of this. I've had it.
Does that worry you? Would you like to see Steve Smith and these guys play more, or does that concern you at all?
Oh, look, a 35-year-old doesn't really worry me, but I hope he does understand the value to young players of playing with Steve Smith. Whether he makes 100 or a duck, a young player will learn a lot by even Steve Smith makes a duck. How good's that? There's a lot of learning that goes on in the way he gets ready for the game, the way he talks and the way his demeanour is around the dressing room during the game, and then how he copes with success and failure. There's so much learning, so I hope we never ever forget that. But yeah, it's a sign of the times that Australian first-class cricketers, especially bowlers, will need rotation at times when they're brand new and young, or on the older side. So.
And let's talk about Warnie. I heard you say the other day that he reminds you, or Reece Walsh reminds you of Warnie. And where's it? That's an interesting comparison.
Yeah.
What do you see as the similarities there? The great Broncos rugby league fullback and the greatest leg spinner of all time.
Well, I think Warnie's probably had more expectation on him than Reece even, because we thought we were going to be okay because we got Warnie. Warnie will dominate in day 5, day 4, day 5 in nearly every test match we played, and any venue in the world. So Reece sometimes can't do it all on his own, but Warnie, it's the individual nature of cricket in a team environment that gave us confidence. And when the team are saying that, Imagine what the cricket world is saying. They're saying, Australia will win these because they got Warnie. And he deals with that. He dealt with that pressure of expectation incredibly well. I always say, I think it's less than 5 times that I can remember that if we were bowling last, that Warnie didn't get that job done. That means getting, helping our team get 10 wickets to win a test match. And Reece's consistency will be that good. He will, and he deals with the external pressures incredibly well. The Broncos and Australia, if it's going to be, and Queensland, if they're going to be, they can't just leave it up to him. They've got to set it up for Reece to make sure he's as damaging and destructive that Warnie was.
And they both love the spotlight, didn't they? Warnie
they get the spotlight, don't they? They
Yeah.
get the spotlight. So now, what are your choices?
Yeah.
To fight this or go with it? Warnie, I think he was shy when he started, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but,
a little bit.
But then he was quite a knowledgeable old head on a young chunky body, eh? He reminded me of a very skillful country cricketer who had played in the country regions successfully for many years, and he's only 21. So I'm sure Reece has got that impression as well. He talks like he's a pro. He doesn't feel a pro. I believe him when he has to work hard at being that confident and that big a professional.
What about Warnie, the rock star? Like, I remember ringing you once in a hotel room in South Africa in 1994, and you said, I'm rooming with Elvis Presley. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I can't say I got to go. And I've never asked you, but you room with Warnie, but I remember you said, I'll tell you later, you never did. What was Elvis at that point, Elvis Warne?
People would ring him,
really?
Like locals.
Oh, really?
Like Warnie, for me, got way too many phone calls on his mobile number for some reason. How they tracked that down, I never found out. But he was always sometimes getting annoyed, like, mate, like, give us a break. Like, they were sometimes giving him abuse or, negative type phone calls. And I'd say, Warnie, what was that? I don't know, somebody got my number. I've never had not one stray phone call. He would get, at least one a day.
And of course it all started, and you had the best view in the house of the most famous cricket ball ever bowled. The ball of the century, 1993, Shane Warne to Mike Gadding.
First ball, Bale is off. He's bowled him. Gadding can't believe it. First ball, lethal.
I would have to say that is the perfect leg spin delivery, curving and then spinning. And when you produce it first ball, I can understand the batsman being not only surprised but very upset.
Tell us something we don't know about Warnie's bowling that you thought, what you sensed from behind the sticks, 1 metre away from the batsman.
Well,
that ball in particular.
We didn't know a whole lot about him until just before then. I'm pretty sure we went to New Zealand prior to the Ashes, and he bowled some big spinning balls, and he bowled Kenny Rutherford around his legs. We've never seen this before. Like a batsman, the ball drifts in here, bounces well outside his legs, it comes round behind his backside and bowls him in a test. We've never seen that. We'd been through a reasonably lean spinning time in Australian cricket. On the last day, it was not automatic that Australia would win a test with our normal spinners, whether that be Peter Sleep or Peter Taylor or Bruce Yardley in the day. The teams could survive against Australia. But gee whiz, they just can't. They couldn't against Warnie because he had great control, to have that, a shape into a right-hander and land it where he wants it to land for hours is his great skill. His accuracy and control of that swing and the amount of spin he then puts on it. So he can vary his spin, so side spin and then more overspin and then a wrong un, which he hardly ever bowled, and then a flipper that comes underneath the hand. He can control most of it for most of the day. And that's very, very rare for a leg spinner. So, And as you said, for all the kids that were trying to bowl leg spin in that era and that generation, what's it delivered to the game of first class cricket? No one.
He's so good.
It's so hard, and he was so good. But with all that shape and spin, they are great skills, but his accuracy is the key.
What about Warnie the person, Hills? And I know this is a hard question to ask you, but I often wonder whether he found true contentment in life. You know, because fame sort of got him and swamped him, didn't it? And he was a prisoner of it. As much as he put up with it and all that, and I get it, but I wonder whether he was really content. You know, what did you make of it all?
He was pretty restless, wasn't he? And I think that's his nature. He always enjoyed what he was doing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that might be contentment. And then he'd go and he'd get out of his comfort zone. His manager might say, "Oh, that's such and such wants you to try and do this and that." What? You know, go in the jungle and stuff like that. What?
Concentrate, mate. Just go to a numb place. Just be numb. Come on.
What was that?
Yeah.
And he'd go and do that, and then he'd perform very well and give the impression that he's really enjoying it. That's what he was like every day. You know, he enjoyed every day of his life. But the other thing is, I think a similarity between Reece and he is they're both vulnerable and they're question askers.
Yeah.
Right? They ask, was that okay? You know,
Did he used to say that to you?
Warnie, he'd come off the field from one of the great bowling performances ever. You know, might bowl 30 overs and keep the score down to 70, you know, economy to 70 off 30 overs of leg spin and get 3 wickets. And he'd say, was that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, mate. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
Right? And that's, I've heard that recently, that's one of the great qualities of geniuses.
Oh, really?
You know, they ask for feedback.
I suppose I should go true or false with Warnie, all right? Like, true or false? He was not as big a drinker as people said. You know, had the larrikin image, but he didn't drink that much.
True.
True or false? He never really liked the food in India, and he would order pizzas in. Is that true? Or?
No, but he ordered baked beans in. Remember?
Oh, that's of
like
course.
India.
Yeah.
India is the biggest bean producer in the world.
Yeah.
And he gets a shipment of Heinz comes in because Heinz are after the arrival into Mumbai or whatever it was. They sent a pallet of Heinz baked beans over, and he went with them. He used them. Not all of them, but they're the ones he ate. Whereas on the buffet, the Bain Marie's had beans every day.
Oh, yeah.
But he mustn't have liked them. And just bread, like the naan breads and those sorts of breads with his own Vegemite and butter. And sometimes I bet he had some chicken tikka. But, oh no, generally there'd be a spaghetti bolognese maybe. But yeah, no, he struggled to find even his variety of food that he wanted on a lot of tours.
What about sledging, Hills? And, you know, you always had the reputation of being quick on the lip with a humorous bent. And was it true, Mike Atherton claimed that his favourite all-time sledge was Nasser Hussain at Border Field when you urged the fieldsman to come in? Is that right?
Yeah, well, it was in Cairns.
Oh, was it?
I've heard Nasser tell the story. I'd forgotten about it. And when we played England, the series all went well for us. You know, every now and then they'd beat us in a test. But at the end of the series, they could quote everything we said to them. And we couldn't. Like, so we were just cruising through and living our life, travelling around England, winning. And it was just great times for us. But yeah, apparently it was in Cairns when Queensland played England. And I moved Laurie, and said to Laurie, come in right under this bloke's nose.
Nasser Hussain.
Yeah, and it was deep cover. He was on the boundary. So Nasser's got, you know, he's well known for his hooter, as I was. So he remembers it.
But you used to do other things, like I remember for Kepler Vessels, you said you would, it wasn't personal sledging, you'd fire him up, you said you'd just talk to him. Is that right? Try and subtly distract him, keep the conversation going. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I don't think I wouldn't talk to Kepler.
Really?
He's too hard, you know. Yeah. Although, and he could bat for long periods and not get out. He probably wouldn't hurt you. He would be in a defensive mode, but I want him trying to get the run rate going.
Yeah,
you know,
I
so
see.
he might play it a wide one,
Yep.
but if I stir his resolve, he's not playing that shot. I need him playing away from his body more than just, you know, being the barnacle.
Yeah.
Like a Brian Lara, Sachin Tendulkar, Stephen Waugh, you know, you just don't say anything because,
Oh, really?
yeah, they go, is that right? Well, you know what? I think I'll bat for 2 days today.
Yeah.
And you head down. I hope the captain didn't hear that, you know. Like,
Whereas who was someone who you think, no, he's worth a chirp, this guy, I'm sorry.
There's not many. There's none at the top level, and I'm a decent gauge on it because I basically went from club cricket,
Yep.
where there's a fair bit of banter. You know,
Yeah,
North's my club in Brisbane playing against South, so we're into it, right? To state cricket without sort of just having my eyes opened. Not much going on there. Maybe a blow up or two with a bowler got frustrated with a batsman, and then to test level, right? So.
What about
There's
Arjuna
not as much
Ranatunga?
there.
That was a famous one where you said you can't have a runner
For being unfit.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
He said, I got a cramp.
Yeah.
I said, you got a cramp because you're fat, have a look at you. You know, and you know, and he and I were mates. You know, his first cousin lives in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And you know, I was catching up with Arjuna a lot.
Oh, really?
And you go quite hard at your mates. It's like
Yeah.
club cricket again,
Yeah.
you know. And he marked back. You know, he wasn't. It blew up in a one-day international. Just before we went to the World Cup, where our pre-tournament camp was going to be in Colombo.
Yeah.
And we had to have our camp somewhere else because there was a bit going through the mail, you know, a few threats and
And did it
everything.
stretch back to the Arjuna Sledge?
Well, it was a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was part of it.
Yeah.
Daryl Hare, the umpire
of
calling
course.
Murali
Yep,
that year.
yep.
He got called in the Melbourne Boxing Day
Yep,
test. It was
yep.
it was quite a aggressive series.
Yep.
Full stop. And that night I blew up at Arjuna. We won the World Series Cup 2-0. And so that was it. The one-day comp was over. They didn't shake hands, and then that would have inflamed their supporters over at home, and you're thinking it was our fault all the time. Well, there's nothing. We've done that wrong. And anyway, it cost us our camp in Colombo. We chose Colombo because we loved Colombo. We loved the Sri Lankans and loved playing them, and they loved playing us. Anyway, it was a very disrupted preparation for the 96 World Cup. And then guess what? We forfeit the first game in Colombo, can't go. We were down to play Sri Lanka, I think. We beat Sri Lanka in the final.
Oh, yes.
And, you know, we desperately wanted to win, but didn't. They beat us. And, you know, it was a very tumultuous time.
And Hills, what about the way your career finished? You know, you played your last test in Zimbabwe. You wanted a farewell test at the Gabba, and you famously met with Trevor Hones, didn't you? And was denied that request. Tell us a story.
This is the sacked bit, is it?
Yeah, this is it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my last tour was, it was quite a tough year. We finished with England in Australia. Mark Taylor retires. We've still got a Sri Lankan and a West Indian, Sri Lankan and Zimbabwe tours. You know, they're hard. Murali was a real handful. Murali, when he started, used to have that flicking type action, but the ball would only spin one way.
Yep.
And about 5 years into his career, he started to work on one that went straight, same flick, but big spinner that way and straight on. So batsmen were, if you couldn't pick it, batsmen were just trying to hit with the spin, play him like it was going to be an off spinner. But then he took another year or two and he got one that go that way.
My goodness.
You know, and little for a while, and you know, the word around the cricket world is, it doesn't spin that much. You know, you're still okay. And then he got it to spin more.
Yeah.
I still don't know how you do that and get a ball to spin that way. And that's where, you know, he was a handful for me. The batsman would say to you, no, after about 15 or 20 minutes, you're fine. It's no problem. Well, how do I get through that?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So I was just sweeping, and as soon as you start sweeping at everything, Murali's, as his intuition was as good as Warnie's. I know exactly you can't read me, and he just right, you go there, you move there, you move there, and he can land that ball with the accuracy of Warnie. So that was hard. Then Zimbabwe to finish. I just hope. At the time, I was. I knew I was a bit off. My practice enjoyment was down. The West Indies is a hard tour, tough practice facilities, and I needed to practice a lot to get my confidence with the bat, and I wasn't getting it. I wasn't finding ways to work it hard enough on my batting. So my batting was off, my keeping was fine. And get to Zimbabwe, batting still off. It still didn't come good. I'm really not enjoying training or even the competition now, the pressure and the strain and getting jobs done. But the next test after a small off-season was Brisbane. I've made back-to-back hundreds at Brisbane, and I know the work I'm going to do to get right for Brisbane, and I'll be fine. So I asked Alan Border, who's our coach at the time. He was filling in for Swampy, who was dealing with the bereavement of a mate, and I said, I had a long chat with AB, and AB, I said, look, tonight when you're talking to the selectors, could you, when you're picking this team in Harare, could you just ask if I could play Brisbane and finish? And I said, well, yeah, pretty good idea. I was confident that I could get my batting back, but you know, understanding as well that I'm down. And I swear he's never really come out and sort of said it, but I got the thumbs up at dinner, at the team dinner.
Oh, really?
By the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope he was doing it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've misread it if it wasn't. And so I didn't make any announcements, but that turned out to be my last test. And then got back from Zimbabwe and spoke with Trevor Holmes, the national selecting chairman. And he said, I gave him my story about Zimbabwe, and he said, no, I haven't heard about that. It's still the same. Still the same. We're thinking the same. What's that? He said, that we'll give you the chance to retire. Oh, what? But in the background in my head, it's, I don't have to go to training.
Yeah.
And I knew I was gone. I'd had enough. But I thought this Brisbane test will be fun. I like sports people retiring on the field.
Yeah.
I won't let anyone down. Everyone's pretty happy to let me play, to have me play. Anyway, that was it. Done. So I got a brand new baggy green, got it ready for the last test, and didn't have to use it.
Oh, have you still got it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing that a souvenir of the baggy green, which you thought you were going to wear again and never wore?
No,
is that right?
No, it's I would have shaped it up, worn it, just getting it ready. Thought I had it ready in Zimbabwe, so if they came back and said no, you're off.
Yep.
I would have worn it then. That was my last test. Would have been in Harare. Would have had a good time with the boys, etc., etc. But didn't have to do that, and no one else knew what I was thinking, and other than AB. And I stuffed it up somehow.
How do you sit now, looking back on it? Are you comfortable with what happened, or were you dirty, or are you sort of?
Not as dirty as Dad.
Yeah.
Dad would go looking for the selectors.
Really? Yeah.
And I got beautiful support from around Australia and Queensland, definitely. Lots of conjecture over, what should it have been done or not.
Yeah.
Was I dirty? I just not as dirty as I thought. It was just dumb.
Yeah.
Why the hurry?
Yeah.
I'll be right. I could retire waving to my home crowd.
Yeah,
and on a ground that I'd made 100 the last 2 years on, and that made sense to me.
Yeah,
And so I just thought it was a dumb decision. And then I finished. Gilly starts the second test. Was there any rush?
Yeah.
Not really. So and then a fair few players since have had a run around the country, not just their home ground, and been underachieving around the country. So, and I'm sort of still a bit romantic about it. I'm less likely to say that bloke should go than run it out. Run it out, but I'm not an aggressive axer.
That's interesting. And you played in a generation where there was some staggeringly good bowlers, and going through your past thoughts that have been published, the two which seems to stand out are Wasim Akram and Malcolm Marshall. Who's the top seed and why As you know, there's Ambrose, there's Marshall, there's Garner, there's all these guys. Who's the top seed?
I think was him.
Oh, really?
Because he seemed to bowl at me like he bowled at the best.
Yeah.
Malcolm couldn't care less about me.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So, but the similarities were short, fast run-ups, fast arm, great skill, away swing, in swing, Yorker, bouncer, very subtle changes, and because of their short, sharp run-ups, they could bowl long spells. They could bowl for a long period.
Yep.
But Wasim just gave it to everyone, like swinging, bumper, like that. And you could just feel he's really at you and trying to get you out, even though conditions are flat.
Yeah.
And Malcolm, quite often I'd be batting with Alan Border. Malcolm to Alan Border was a different person than Malcolm to me.
Oh, really?
And quite often, one day in Guyana really stands out to me. AB is copping it like Malcolm's. He had a really high-pitched squeal. If he thought he had you, he's all over AB. AB's swaying out of the way, duck, and I'm down the other end. And AB gets one off the body down to fine leg, and I'm now on strike. And I get a 4, followed by a second 4. Half volleys on my leg stump. And get to the middle with AB. AB said, "Have I got bounce me on my helmet or something?" What? He was just, and I said, "Mate, it's not that hard." And Malcolm, eased off on me for sure. Didn't bowl as well.
They had some intriguing characters, didn't they? Like Curtly Ambrose. Did he ever speak to you at all? Did you get anything out of him? Because they reckon he just brushed.
But he wasn't bad with his. He was no. The answer is no. I don't think Curtly ever spoke to me voluntarily. Like morning, he might get a morning out of him if he's walking to his group past you as you're doing some practice. Maybe, can't remember it, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't nasty or anything like that. But he just didn't speak. Just hard to face every day. He bounced back. If you get him yesterday on a flat wicket and going right, here he is again. He's given his best, and a lot of people don't know this probably, that the best place to play those great fast bowlers was in the West Indies.
Oh, really?
The crowds were a bit biased and a bit hard to handle at times, but the wickets were the flattest and most placid compared to Australia. It's your best chance to make runs against them, and bring them out to Australia. They would be so excited to get on those planes, I reckon, and get to Australia. The bounce that they can achieve on every wicket around the country, it's unbelievable. But Curtly, I had to ring Curtly once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Remember Steve Waugh, and he was in his grill, like Stephen was going like that, and Curtly was right here looking into his grill. Well, a mate of mine developed a photograph of that.
Oh.
And he's used me to ring Curtly to sign them. Would you sign 1,500 of these things, right, or whatever it was? I've still got one. It's still hanging up. And Steve, I got Steve to agree to it, of course, and then I have to ring Antigua. So I had to get my times right, and now I'm ringing Curtly Ambrose. Oh, I'm so scared. I was sweating. Anyway, I rang, and the phone picked up, and he said, "Speak." That's all he said. I said, "Oh, Curtly, Ian Healy here from Australia." "Oh, Heelman."
Did he really?
Yeah. He says, "Yeah, no worries. I'll give you this cut." I had the deal for him.
Yeah.
This photo's been
Were you nervous?
Oh, totally nervous. So. But I knew I had a gift for him. I was going to give him a bit of money. If he signed these photos and they sell well, this is how much you're going to make. And so at least I had a bit of a gift.
Speaking of money, you probably retired just before the big money sort of hit cricket or whatever. And I remember you saying, what sort of... And some guys did do other professions when you started, didn't they? You're a school teacher yourself.
Yeah.
But like, what were sort of guys on in the late 1990s? Like, what did it go from what to what?
It changed. The decision was made that the players were going to share revenues, like a revenue share model with Cricket Australia. That was decided in 97 and it was going to come in 99. I retired in 99. I was asked to retire in 99. Our whole objective was to try and own our houses before we finish.
Yep.
You know, so that was good. I think I was on a contract of like 200 by the end.
Yeah.
And Alan Border, for example, in 94, things moved between 94 and 97. Our Players Association became much more robust and committed. So the senior players were involved, as well as we had Tim May to run it for us. And so Alan Border in 94, when he retired, I think was on 75,000 contract, and the closest to him might have been Jeff Marsh on 30. You know, so we were all way down there. But between 94 and 97, that went up to 200, sort of the senior players, and then, but no negotiations or anything like that. That's what you get, and then in 99, it really opened up to you know, share the revenues of the game, upsides as well as downsides. But there hasn't been a downside that has gone below the floor that would change the player contracts at this stage.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And of course, it all started for you in Billawheeler, didn't it? Dad, Nev, was a bank manager, and there you were. And I wonder if kids now with phones will ever have the muscle memory that you had of playing 10 million games of backyard cricket, you know?
Yeah, it's a good call. I think our good cricketers are still there, but they're probably getting coached more than we did. We played, and you know, you go through the ABC program, and you're England, and your older brother's Australia, and this particular week, and you bat left-handed if it's John Edridge, or right-handed if it's Alan Knott comes in to bat next. So you just got a lot of dreaming done, and muscle memory and skills, left hand or right hand, thinking about a test match, dreaming. I don't think we ever dreamt that one day you're going to be there, but you wanted to be a good cricketer. And the system of cricket was good in Queensland cricket. For Billawheeler, a Billawheeler boy to make the Queensland under-12 team, under 13s, 14s, or sometimes it went 13s, 15s, sometimes 12, 14s, and an age group would change. So, yeah, you know, to represent Central Queensland, go to a state carnival, and all the teams were there. And so a country kid could compare myself to the city kids once a year. And I knew that I was probably good enough. So that system being so good, you then can come to Brisbane, which you know, ultimately have to do to get into first grade cricket in the big city. You sort of came with a reputation, and people were looking out for you. So, and you felt like you were good enough because the system has told me I'm supposed to be pretty good.
And just one last one, Hills, you've given so much to cricket. I've never seen a bloke be more generous this time in honorary capacities. And also, you've headed off into the business world with Hoppy's Car Wash, Radio SEN, and a few other things. So just on that business angle, there's a push to privatise the Big Bash. Do you support it? What's your feelings about it? Are you concerned?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's got to proceed with caution.
Yep.
How much is it worth? Who's valuing it?
Yep.
And how do you come at that value?
Yeah.
And then, what are you going to do with that money?
Yep.
You know, to secure our sport for 50 years.
Yep.
You know, and maybe even longer. And where do we put that money? Right? And I'm sort of suspicious that someone's not going to come in and buy half the Big Bash or a Big Bash franchise for a lot of money, and have cricket use it for Sheffield Shield and Tests. You know, to prop up the whole game. There's going to be pressure on to use that money for that competition, i.e. the Big Bash. So I'm all for it, but they're the things that have got to be sorted out. You know, how much are we going to get? And then what are the plans with that money, and what control are we giving up? So in Surrey, I think it is, in England, the minority shareholder, and this has been done in England just 18 months ago, they've sold off minority shareholdings, but in some states, some instances, total, sold the whole club, right? The Northern Superchargers are the one. But even the minority shareholders can sign up, we want to pick the coach. And you either agree to things or you don't. And so that's what happens at Surrey. We've got to sort out all the loopholes, the potential loopholes and control areas between your new partners and you. You know, some unpopular partners might want to pay heaps of money.
Yep.
Or do you go a much more, reconciliable partner that you'll get along with really good for a bit less money? And what's enough? So there's a lot of things to go under that bridge just yet, but I generally support it.
Well, Ian, we could talk for hours. It's been wonderful to have you on. What a career you've had, what a life you've had.
Yeah.
And thanks for joining us on Sacked. You still spin a good yarn.
Oh, it's a bad word, that. Sacked. Now he's sacking me.
Well done.
Thanks, Gresham.
Pleasure. Thanks, Heels.